There are those who say that it was all a dream and that it didn't happen at all, nor could it happen in the 20th century. But I tell you, it happened.
Buying a new phone is kind of like getting into a new relationship. See, whenever you get into a new relationship, there are 3 different stages that every couple will get into if you're lucky enough to even last that long. Stage 1, the honeymoon phase. Everything is perfect. Your partner, or in this case, the phone, can basically do no wrong in your eyes. And it truly feels like you've made the best decision that you could have ever made since everything feels just right. Stage 2, doubt and denial. This is the stage where everything is still going fine and you're happy with your decision. But as humans, there are always concerns. And there's this little voice in your head telling you that maybe things that I love about this person or phone may not be as great as I thought. Stage 3, disillusionment. Now at this stage, the power struggles within your relationship have come to full surface. The issues that you have consistently swept under the rug are now very obvious. And ultimately, this is where you decide if you truly love your decision or if you were just blinded by the fact that it was a new experience. So you end up hating it. And just like relationships, the smartphone experience is very similar on many levels. See, a lot of times we really don't know if a phone is truly good until we spent a ton of time with it. After all the new emotions of having a brand new phone have wore off, will you still be able to look at it in the same light as you did in the beginning? See, this is the type of approach that I wanted to make very clear in my 3-month review of the Galaxy S24 Ultra. I wanted to disassociate myself from the honeymoon phase completely and give you guys my honest thoughts on if this phone is truly worth buying or if you're better off looking elsewhere. Now, the appearance of a phone is the first thing that catches our eye and is a really big indicator on whether or not we buy said phone. Some people prefer smaller phones, others prefer their phone to be more rounded. And basically what I'm saying is that there are all types of physical qualities that will give your phone a certain feel and persona. The Galaxy S24 Ultra gives off a very macho dominant persona and feel, from its huge size to its very sharp boxy frame, all the way down to its smooth titanium material. Everything about this phone screams superior, and Samsung made sure its presence is felt even down to the smallest details. Convenience was another strong suit with the S24 Ultra's build. Unlike the 15 Pro Max, it has a functioning SIM card port on the bottom, along with a very discreet speaker and mic, and even the S Pen is able to blend in extremely well, to the point where you'll often forget it even exists. Now, if you're someone who's right-handed, the convenience will be even stronger since the power button and volume rockers are on the right side for easy access. But as someone who's left-handed, it can bear problems since this phone is still very big, which can make it uncomfortable. The iPhone offers a more comfortable option no matter the dominant hand, since it has functioning buttons on the left and right side. Going deeper into some problems that I ran into with the build, the titanium finish all around looks amazing aesthetically, but since it's extremely smooth and soft to touch, it can be very slippery, so if you are interested in the S24 Ultra, getting a case with a good grip will result in a more comfortable feel. Now, the last problem that stood out was the comfort of the grip, since the S24 Ultra is very boxy. Aesthetically, it looks amazing, but phones that have a more rounded frame are much more welcoming to hold, especially since the S24 Ultra has sharp edges, and since the S24 Ultra has sharp edges, it'll often stab the inside of your hand, making your grip not only less secure, but much more uncomfortable. Now, remember when I said that Samsung has given a persona to the Galaxy S24 Ultra for being macho and dominant? Well, I can pretty much say the same thing when it comes to display. And although macho and dominant has a totally different meaning when it comes to build, you can tell that Samsung was trying to beat out the iPhone and Pixel in every single category, from color, size, visual experience, and even the smallest things such as reflections. And as someone who owns the iPhone 15 Pro Max and Pixel 8 Pro, the Galaxy S24 Ultra is beating these two in colors and resolution by far. Here is a video of me watching a video on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Looking at it, you can tell that it has a great display that will give you no problems when it comes to visual experience, but you will automatically tell the difference once I show you that same video on my Galaxy S24 Ultra. The colors are more punchy, the resolution is slightly sharper, and its size with the boxy frame also added to its experience. Another benefit of having an S24 Ultra compared to the iPhone or Pixel is that it's much better at dealing with unnecessary distractions. Whenever I'm watching something on any of my other phones, there will always be this annoying glare or sunlight that will make the display a little bit more faded, which can cause reflections. But with the S24 Ultra, it's the only phone on the market that has anti-glare, so no matter where you are, it will have much less glare while still maintaining its true colors and giving a solid visual experience in any condition. Anti-glare, complemented with the fact that it has 2600 nits of peak brightness, really shows how serious and ahead of the game that Samsung is when it comes to displays, especially when the closest phone when it comes to brightness is the Pixel 8 Pro, which has 2400 nits, but without anti-glare, it doesn't seem as close in real life compared to the spec sheet. Continuing the S24 Ultra's superior macho complex, the responsiveness was also another part of the display that stood amongst the crowd. Comparing the responsiveness to the Pixel 8 Pro, both are very fast and similar, but the S24 Ultra feels much more controlled. The Pixel 8 Pro can kind of get out of hand whenever you scroll on a very long page, but with the S24 Ultra, it's able to balance being extremely fast, responsive, and smooth at the same time, which results in a very advanced computer type of feel. The fingerprint sensor was the best in the game. Comparing it to the Pixel 8 Pro, it was basically night and day. The Pixel 8 Pro was very inaccurate and much slower overall, as opposed to the S24 Ultra, which was not only lightning fast, but also insanely accurate as well. Comparing facial recognition with the iPhone 15 Pro Max, as more and more time goes by, I'm starting to think that the iPhone might lose its crown as the phone with the best facial recognition. Over the years, the Ultra series has gone to become extremely fast and accurate, and the difference has gotten even smaller in 2024. Now, software is another department where the S24 Ultra is able to excel in, not only when it comes to performance, but also when it comes to longevity. The S24 Ultra will support 7 years of software upgrades, which basically means that this phone will be up to date until 2030. So basically, I will be able to use this phone at a very high rate until I'm damn near 31 years old. But all jokes aside, One UI 6.1 has been running incredibly smooth. I really appreciated the fact that I rarely run into any bugs on a day-to-day basis. And what I've always loved about One UI is how much freedom it gives me to customize damn near anything I want. I love how I'm able to change the home screen, apps, and folder grids if I want more or less space on my display. Widgets are much more customizable as well. I'm able to make damn near any widget as transparent as I want in order to fit them with my wallpaper. There are much more settings and features within the notification screen. Samsung supports many more themes since it has a whole catalog that is also created by different people without any wraparounds. And this could be a whole video in itself, but with the Galaxy S24 Ultra, you can basically customize anything you want, especially if you want to go further and download apps like Nova or Good Luck. Mobile gaming has increased over the years, and Samsung has really stepped it up on the Ultra when it comes to power and performance. I live in the US, so our S24 Ultras are powered by the Snapdragon Gen 3 chip, and based on my experience with a wide range of games from very powerful to more chill, the Galaxy S24 Ultra has been doing great all across the board. Unlike the S22 series, I didn't experience any overheating after gaming for a longer period of time. The vapor chamber cooling system allowed the phone to get mildly hot, but managed to stay at that temperature the whole way. Playing games like Call of Duty was very smooth. I was able to maintain a consistent frame rate, and it allowed me to play on the highest settings while experiencing little hiccups and lags. And if you guys seen in my previous videos, you know my favorite game to play is Asphalt 9, which is kinda tame. The colors are vibrant, the frame rate shines, and since the Galaxy S23 Ultra, Samsung has been the best when it comes to gaming on a top-tier flagship phone. Now, before I get into how the camera's holding up, I wanted to touch on the battery briefly since my experience has been pretty basic. It gives me all-day battery life, it charges fast, and I only charge it at night. I'm getting 6 to 8 hours a day when it comes to screen time. I have a 45-watt charging brick, so I get a full charge in 1 hour and 5 minutes, which is insanely fast. I never use power saving mode. My phone is always on 5G. And I have my 120Hz refresh rate on all the time, so the battery is good no matter if your usage is high or low. Now, cameras are very subjective. I might love a certain way the S24 Ultra takes pictures, but some of you guys might also hate it. So I wanted to compare pictures with the iPhone 15 Pro Max, since this phone seems to be the Ultra's biggest competitor in this department. Selfies when compared to the 15 Pro Max can be rocky. Both phones have really good resolution. You can see my face very clear. It's just that the S24 Ultra can make me look lighter at times, while the iPhone 15 Pro Max can make me look orange. Night photos on both are very comparable, but I did prefer my S24 Ultra since the photos look more clean, more crisp, and the added lighting is much brighter. Again, this is personal preference, and some of you guys might see the iPhone 15 Pro Max as having better night photos. Regular everyday photos on both phones are beautiful. With the S24 Ultra, you get more vibrancy. With the iPhone, you get more realistic sharpness. But at the end of the day, both the S24 Ultra and 15 Pro Max will give you some amazing quality photos. Now, even though I love the camera, I will admit that I'm not really the biggest fan when it comes to videos. See, I'm someone who advocates on using your phone when it comes to creating content, I have over 500 videos on this channel that have been shot on an iPhone, but when it comes to the S24 Ultra, it just doesn't look as good. Whenever I'm outside, everything is great, the colors are popping, the resolution is sharp, and it gives some amazing videos. But whenever I'm in the house, the lighting is nowhere near as great as the iPhone 15 Pro Max, which is why I always end up using that phone instead. Besides that though, if you are someone who doesn't use your phone to create content, the S24 Ultra will have you looking right. And I wanted to share more footage that I got with it to show you guys how it holds up in different environments. And these are my final thoughts on the Galaxy S24 Ultra after 3 months of use. It's an overall solid phone that, despite its mishaps, turned out to be a great phone that was able to make it through the honeymoon phase. And don't forget guys, the Galaxy S24 Ultra day in the life is on its way, so don't worry and let me cook.